with another video today on Money Madness. My name is Blair. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Help me to get the word out there to as many people as possible. Help people deal better with their moolah. We all need to do that, because it takes money for practically everything these days. Very few things you can do where you are not handing some of it over to someone else. So today I've been thinking about this a lot over the last couple weeks. I don't know, over the last couple decades or years. Cars, automobiles. Now, I think cars are a necessity for the most part. In America, at least, and in a lot of the world, especially America, though. I mean, we are all about the car, having everything spread out as far as possible, being as dependent on the car as humanly possible. Even if it's half a mile away in your own neighborhood, you got to drive, it's the American way. So I think cars are a huge hindrance for almost everyone to build wealth, to build passive income, to build freedom. Now, what can we do about it? Because I do think that's true. I think cars are an obstacle to get through or to get past, however you want to phrase it, where you can put more money in your investments. So you'll have a better future, because the more money you put into a car, the only thing that's going to do is go down in value, and it's just going to suck your money dry. Solutions. So yes, we are very car dependent, and that's not anything any of us have chosen individually. It is the way our society is physically structured. So I live in San Antonio, Texas, and one of the worst places in the world, I think, to be a pedestrian or to not have a car. And I mean, I'm sure there are people that do it because they have to. But I would say very few people choose to here. And so we each have our own little houses, right? Our own little house, our own little yard, and we got our little residential streets. And as I'm walking down the street, the dogs are all barking at me. And then when one starts, they all start. So we walk down our little residential streets and, look both ways, make sure we don't get run over. And then we might, if we're fortunate, we might live near some commercial areas. But, to walk to a laundromat or a gym or a grocery store is probably going to be pretty far for most of us. And so, and it's dangerous to be a pedestrian. So you can try to walk a little bit more if you can. Now, if you live like out on a farm or out in a rural area, then that's going to be, practically impossible because there's nothing around. But if you live in an urban or suburban area, you might be able to walk certain places, and I would try that. Also, if you have, in San Antonio, we have a pretty good bus system here. We do not have a light rail. I wish we did. I know those are expensive to build. They do have one in Dallas, Texas, and it's actually pretty good. I mean, I think you could get around a lot better up there without a car if you had to than you could here. And of course, Boston, New York City, cities like that, you could get by without a car, but it's a lot more expensive to live there. So anyway, I live in San Antonio, and what I've been trying to do, I do have a car. It's very old. It's actually 23 years old. Don't laugh, please. But I haven't, it's not going to last forever, and I'm probably way overdue to get something, newer. But I'm trying to just keep it going as long as I can because it's been paid off since 2004. So I haven't had a car payment in 18 years. And that's really nice. You know, it's really nice not to have a car payment, because I was reading somewhere that the average car payment is $563. That's nuts. I mean, you could be doing so much more with that money, and that's just the payment. You still have insurance and gas. Gas is through the roof right now. It's really expensive. Tires. I mean, the list is just so long with cars about how much, you know, money they cost, and we really don't think about it. But I would say it's not. It's very hard to not have a car. I wish it was easier, but it's not. And so I'm not saying to go car free, although you could try it, but it's very inconvenient to not have a car at all, especially when you're trying to get groceries, or, you know, if you need to go somewhere really fast that's a little bit far away. But I guess I would say try and go car light, where you, if you have public transportation where you live, try to utilize it, try to use it. And at least sometimes, like I go to church on Sundays and it's just one bus. And I used to drive every time, but now I'm like, well, you know, it's really cheap to take the bus, and it does take longer, but I would say access public transportation if you can, walk if you can, bike if you can. I mean, you know, Uber and Lyft, that's going to add up after a while. Those rides can add up. So I guess you could do those every once in a while. But and then of course drive your car when you need to. But I would suggest buying a used car cash, or if you want to buy a new car cash. I mean, that's tough to do. So try to avoid a car payment, minimize your driving, and then of course try to drive safe when you are driving, to avoid tickets and accidents and all the bad stuff that can happen. So yeah, I think cars to me are just very frustrating. I wish our communities were compact, you know, more compact than they are. I wish they were more walkable, where you didn't feel like you were going to get splatted by a car every time you took a walk outside your front door. And I wish that we had better public transportation, you know, if not more, but especially those three things. But you know, be that as it may, society is what it is. And I just try to do the best I can. Try to use some of these tips if you can, and, you know, lessen your dependence on cars. I've even thought about maybe getting a battery or an electric car. Those are still kind of expensive, but there are so many less things that can break, you know, that you have to fix than on an internal combustion engine. Anyway, that's my little soapbox today on cars. Great. I hope somebody at least agrees with me or sees what I'm talking about. And y'all have a good day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next video.